Hey there, I'm Sarah Zarella, a portrait and wedding photographer and your host for Wedding Secrets Unveiled. This is a podcast where we cut through the complexity of wedding planning, leaving you with everything you need to know directly from the industry experts. If you want to simplify your wedding planning while having fun, of course, you came to the right place. Join me while I guide you through your planning, starting from your engagement to your big day when you say, I do. After photographing for over 20 years, I am sharing with you tips and tricks to cut through the excess noise. Because I believe from the moment you said yes, your planning experience should be a magical time in your life. Here you'll find episodes that are fun, stress-free, and straight to the point with a fresh, honest take on the reality of what you really need to know about planning your perfect day. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So I got a question for you. Do you know how to be a good guest at a wedding? Or are you getting married? Or are you going to be a guest at your wedding? This is a two-part podcast episode for you. I will be talking with Casey Marak. She's the owner and founder of CK Collective. We're going to be talking about how to be the good guest. So if you are planning a wedding or you're going to be a guest at a wedding, share this episode to all of your friends and family members who are going to be a guest. So they are the good guest. We are really going to break it down. We're going to go over all the things that we have seen that we don't want you to do. The mistakes that we've seen some guests do, the mistakes that we've done. Being in the industry for over 20 years, we have seen a lot. So today, we're going to share with you some funny stories. We're going to have a great banter, and we are going to give you a ton of rapid-fire tips about how to be a good guest. So stay tuned. This is a two-part series, and enjoy the episode. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sarah Zarella, and today I'm here with Casey. Well, hello, Casey.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am, because let me tell you, so for our listeners, today's episode has been one that Dan and I have been planning for a long time. Ever since we started this podcast, Dan has been telling me that we have to do how to be a good guest, like guest etiquette, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And we just, everybody we go to, we're like, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. And then we worked together a couple of months ago, and we talked about having you on. And we said, I told you that we need to do it like an episode on guest etiquette, and you're like, I need to do this one.
Oh, absolutely. Out of the most opinionated person to ever exist, absolutely.
And also, too, as a planner,
yes,
you are dealing with guests.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I see it all. Sometimes I even say that I feel like working a wedding or being around weddings as much as we are is a crash course in psychology, too, on dealing with people's emotions as the bride, the groom, the couple, whatever, but then also guests and how the whole wedding world is basically a crash course in psychology. So
absolutely. So for our listeners, this is a fantastic episode to share with all of your friends and family that are attending your wedding.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, just send it to them.
Yeah. Here you go, guys. This is my expectations. And any questions, here's your resource.
Or just like a subtle, like, oh, look, check this out. Listen to this podcast.
Share it on the Instagram stories. Hope that your wedding guests get the hint.
Right. So we're going to get right into it. Like, how to be a good guest, right? I'm so opinionated on this one. Who wants to start? Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not who wants to start. We got to tell everybody who you are.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, Casey, can you tell everybody who you are, who you serve, and what you do in your business?
Definitely. I'm Casey. I am the owner of CK Collective. We are a boutique wedding planning firm based in Rhode Island. I started the company in 2023 after working in the wedding circuit in Rhode Island for the past 7 years, actually, which is insane. I was trying to count the years on my way here, and 7 seems crazy. But I started CK Collective to serve kind of what I like to call this younger generation of brides. We're kind of the young millennial, I hate saying Gen Z because I'm not, but the younger millennial group that's deep in TikTok, deep in Instagram, and kind of helping my clients and my couples take what they see online make it their own, not feel like they have to be forced into these trends, and really helping them break down what we see online and what you can like actually bring to life and fits you as a couple. I was with another event planner in the Newport area for the past 7 years. I actually started as an intern and then was there full time. That's where I learned everything I know, and I'm so grateful for the experiences, especially in Newport. We have a lot of clients that are destination into Newport, so you see quite the range. And yeah, I had been at another wedding planning company for the past 6-7 years, and now CK Collective is up and running, and we're fully booked up now for 2024, which is very exciting, and looking into 25 and 26, and growing our, what I like to call my CK family of all of our clients. And that's one of the things that's super important to me, is that every client needs to feel like I am their one and only. And it's such an emotional part of their day that I'm so blessed to be a part of, that doesn't go by the wayside. They really become like our family and our friends, and that's something that's super important to me.
I love it, Casey. And we've been working together for quite some time, but it's nice to now see you on your own and doing your own jam.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really exciting. It's still a little imposter syndrome, of course. I feel like going out on my own and seeing all the mail come in or the tax forms. It's crazy to be on my own now, but it's letting me be closer to my clients, and that's really what was important to me, was to be that person for them.
Perfect. But now I can say, who wants to start, you or I?
Oh, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, Casey, you start. So just so you guys know, this is going to be an episode on just rapid fire tips.
Yep.
Where we're going to be all over the place. We are going to just we're going to give you a lot of important information, but randomly just coming at you. So take some notes, sit back, relax, get ready to laugh a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Get the popcorn, a Diet Coke. Let's go.
And some of these you may have done, and that's okay, because we've all done it.
Oh, yeah. We've all done them. We've all been there. And I feel like being a wedding guest, the first and foremost is that you are a guest that the couple in particular hand chose you to celebrate with them. So I think that's something that a lot of people forget, that, oh, I'm a wedding guest, and like, oh, they might have been obligated to invite me. But if you're in a room with a couple on their biggest day, they want you to be there, and that's the energy that you have to come with. Like, you're showing up to celebrate this couple and to be happy for them and to, celebrate in their biggest day. So, into that, it's not about you. Let's start there. Let's start from the day you get the invitation. Well, the day we get the save the date. Let's start there in saying that if you get the save the date and you already know you're busy, you could just say that right then and there. You don't have to wait for an RSVP card.
No,
just, hey, I'm busy already. Totally fine.
The first thing ever is, as soon as you know that you cannot come, just let them know. Because there's other people that now they can invite. Yeah. And going now to RSVP, the sooner you can RSVP, the better.
The better. Of course, there is the RSVP by date, but take that as the absolute last case scenario. If the sooner you get it in, the easier it is for the couple to finish planning what they have to plan, get in their final counts, not be worried all night if Auntie Donna, who hasn't RSVP'd yet, is coming. Do I have to track her down? Just RSVP. Just do it when you get it. So as soon as you know if you're coming or not, send it in.
And also, too, do not be a write-in. So do not write in +1. Do not write in your kids. Do not write in your fiance. Do not write in your boyfriend. Do not write in your husband or wife if they're not on the invitation. So let's back up for a second. I actually am guilty of this.
Honesty hour.
So back when I was, innocent and naive, my husband, who was not my husband at the time, my boyfriend, he got invited to a wedding. But we were pretty serious. We were living together at this time. I almost want to say I was his fiance at that point. And I literally was like, can you tell her, ask her if I could come too? And he did. And I went to a wedding of girls I didn't know. But it's like, at the time, it's like I was his fiance and it was only addressed to him. But I was like, well, wait a minute. But listen, I had no business being there. Like, I mean, I really did it. Like, meaning, well, I had a great time, and I know her now. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I was that person. You really just, and now in hindsight, looking back, I just should have never done that.
Right. I think it goes both ways, though. I understand where you're coming from as the fiance, and especially if you've already met the couple, then maybe, the save the date was sent out before, something like that.
Exactly. Like, they with this particular couple, they didn't realize that we have now taken that next step because this was one of his friends, and yes, I've met them, but it was that he is closer.
Yeah.
And so that's how I justify it in my head. But ultimately, I should have just kind of knowing everything I know now.
Right.
It's one night. It's one event, and I didn't really know them
exactly
as much as he knew them. So this is their day.
Yeah,
I should have never done a write-in. So what I'm just trying to normalize where we're about to like give
we
people
all do it
because we're going to give you guys a lot that you just know that we've all done it.
Yes.
So don't write in your +1.
Similar to that. Don't be offended or take it personally if you didn't get a +1 or if your kids aren't invited. Sometimes weddings, especially if they go the more black tie or formal route, it's just not a place for kids to be, and that's okay. Every couple loves your kids. Take the night off, enjoy it. If it's too hard to get a sitter, then set this one out and celebrate with them later.
And also, too, Casey, we actually have a podcast episode of a nanny organization. So for our listeners who are invited to a wedding and your children are not, this is a great episode to listen. It's one of our previous episodes. You can actually hire a nanny service that will come to your hotel. Sometimes, actually, they can even come to the wedding. So you might want to ask. It's okay to ask the host if there is any childcare in the area, especially if you're out-of-town guests coming in.
Absolutely. And if it's a group of you that, the group of college friends that has the kids already, or some of the younger cousins that you don't want to, even if they are invited and you just don't want them to be there all night, these babysitting and nannying services are so great because you could always go in on it with a group and then have all the kids have a fun night. If you're renting an Airbnb, have, 2 of the babysitters or nannies come, and then you have all the kids together, and it's their own little party.
So, still sticking to that RSVP list, what else does a guest need to do when they send that RSVP card in?
So, hopefully, the bride and groom know the RSVP card coding trick, which is just a little system that us planners always encourage when you're sending RSVPs, is to code the back of the RSVP card with a number so that when you get that RSVP card back, because sometimes as a guest, you conveniently forget to write the name of who you are RSVPing to said wedding. So if the bride and groom, well, I guess let's go back to the point that on the RSVP card, make sure somewhere it says your name. Bare minimum. Just make sure it says the name, because sometimes it will say Mr. and Mrs. and then people just don't fill it out, and then you get an RSVP back, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but I'm really excited you're coming. So, number 1, make sure it says your name.
And if you're a guest, make sure if it doesn't say name and they just oversighted it, just write your name in.
Just write your name in. Yeah. If there's not a space on the RSVP card too, just write your name in, or even a cute little note, can't wait to see you, love, Casey and Sean, whatever it may be. And then to that effect, if they're asking for your meal choices, try to specify who is getting what. So if it's me and I want the fish, I would write Kate, like CM, whatever it would be, an identifier of that's my meal choice versus my guests or my partner's meal choice. Because a lot of times guests don't realize if they're asking for a meal choice, it's because then the caterer or venue, whatever it may be, is going to hand your exact plate to you. So it's important to have the differentiator. You might not realize it as the guest, but if they're asking for your specific meal choice, there's a reason behind it.
Correct. And also, too, speaking of meal choice, if you have an allergy, it's very important to write it in at that moment.
Absolutely.
Please don't be that guest that call, a month before the wedding or a couple weeks before the wedding and then give your preference. Also, too, allergy and your preference are two totally different things. Meaning, if you like your meal not as salty, don't write low salt. But if you have a real allergy, it's actually really okay, and advised to make sure that you specify your allergy. That's very important.
Absolutely. And if it's a pretty severe allergy too, like I know some allergies can be airborne per se, that if someone ate a peanut and then was in my close vicinity, let them know that as well, because of course, like stations, past cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, if it's a severe enough allergy in that circumstance, let them know that too.
Absolutely. So before we move on to that first initial piece of paper you get in the mail, anything else that you have for us?
I would just say to keep in mind that this is the bride and groom's, most likely, first time doing this, so they're really excited. And, you know, I love that your cousin had a photo booth at her wedding. If I'm not having a photo booth, that's okay. I think the issue comes when a guest has been at a wedding or has gone to a lot of weddings or has planned their own weddings, and then it becomes the comparison and the, you know, ooh, what about this? The unsolicited advice. I think keep that to a minimum. And also if the bride and groom or the couple in general are telling you things about their wedding, for example, I know that if it's a destination versus a local wedding or black tie versus more casual dress, there's opinions that come with those. And if if a bride or a groom is requesting black tie or requesting a more formal affair, that doesn't need to then become a burden to the guest that gets relayed to the bride and groom. I think that's something really important, that if it's a destination wedding or a Friday wedding, those what may be grievances for a guest to the bride and groom, you're just excited regardless. There doesn't need to be a conversation about, this is on a Friday, I guess I have to take the day off, or this is a black tie wedding. Oh, I wonder where I'm going to find a gown. I wonder how much a gown is going to cost me. Those are all things that the bride and groom don't need to be burdened with.
You actually brought up a couple points. I just want to kind of hone in for a second. One, you talked about, you know, if you didn't have a photo booth at your wedding, you know, don't have to bring it up. I think it's really important to carry that thought on throughout the entire process, from the moment you get that RSVP to the moment you have your last celebratory dance with the couple, even after. Do not speak about your wedding or anybody else's wedding, especially the day of. Being a photographer, Casey, I hear a lot of, especially coming from the bridal party, more so than actual guest, a lot of people saying, at my wedding I did this, and you know what, they're just really excited about for their wedding, for their couple's wedding, and it's such an innocent mistake.
Absolutely.
But you really have to walk into the day with a conscious decision that you're not going to speak about your day, or whether you are, like, if your day's coming up or your day has passed or someone else's day. It's just I can see it. I can read the room.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. It takes away from their really special moment. And also too, it allows just unnecessary chatter. You know, and also too, you brought the other point, which is dress code or days of the week. You have the right to say no.
Absolutely.
On your RSVP. And that's what the RSVP is for. And talking to another friend or talking to somebody else, it just creates static and noise that's unnecessary. So if it's like an inconvenient destination or day of the week or black tie versus not, that's your time to just politely bow out. And you don't owe any other explanation. You can talk to the bride and groom about it, but you owe nothing other than a no.
Absolutely.
And but if you say yes, you have to work out the finances, the dress, the day of the week, your work schedule on your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the only time it's appropriate to really ask logistics is when it comes with childcare and out-of-town guests with hotel stays.
Absolutely.
Other than that, you really have to fend for yourself. And there's a lot of opportunities. It's called the Google.
Correct. I have a rule with anything in life, and I learned this when I was in college, actually, and I've taken it across all areas of my life now, the 3 before me rule. 3 other resources: Google, a friend, whoever else, before you come to me to ask me that question. If there was 3 other, I'm sure there was 3 other outlets that you could have got an answer to until you had to come to the bride and the groom for it. So 3 before me: Google it, ask a friend, ask a family member. If you still don't have the answer to it, then yeah, sure, come to me. But
you know what it is? It's like So a lot of you all that are listening don't have kids yet, but I do, right? So I could like equate it to this, and I'm sure like, okay, like let's say you were throwing a New Year's Eve party, not even a kid's party. Like you're doing a lot of stuff as a host. You got a lot of things running around. You don't need a text right before saying like, oh, I'm sick, I can't make it, or oh, is there any like, oh, like I don't know, like I'm just, I'm only thinking about my kids' birthday parties. Like it's just a birthday party, but I'm running around doing a gazillion things, and I don't need other parents texting me and telling me like something right before I'm about to host. Right.
Exactly.
Now, if you're sick and you can't make it, yeah, like I understand what you're saying by texting, but you know what, like just save it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't show up, I get it. You can call me later, or that's a bad example because if you're sick, actually that's a bad example. But what I'm trying to say is it's just there's a lot going on. So think about it on the time of like planning your whole year. Like there's just a lot, and you don't know like where the emotions are of of the couple that are planning this wedding. I'm just keep going back to like my kids' birthday parties. If I'm running around, my kids are running around, I'm trying to set up. I don't need that. You may think it's one text, but if you do it and all 20 people who are invited to it, the birthday party, I have now 20 texts to go through when I'm just trying to set up the pinata. But just take that for the bigger scheme here. Is that, like you said, if it's a very simple question, it's probably a very simple question, but you know what? There's just so many simple questions that they're being asked in all different areas. Not just their guests, their vendors, their venues, their family. Just minimize the contact.
Or even reach out to somebody in the wedding party that you know or another guest.
Right.
If it's something that has to go to the bride and groom, absolutely. Go for it. If you're not going to come, like you just said, if you're sick and you're unable to come and that's something that affects the day, of course, let them know right ahead.
But even then, actually, to be honest with you, if you're sick and you can't come, reach out to another person, not the host. Like, I guess what I mean, like, because I keep going back to, like, why does that bother me so much? I have so much going on that, like, reach out to like another person coming and let them know. Don't tell that person because they're already excited about it, and then all of a sudden they start getting that 10% rule that don't show up, which is true. There is 10%. Just so for the listeners who are listening, like if you're hosting, get ready. Unfortunately, even with your own wedding, there will be about 5 place cards sitting there unclaimed. Things come up. People get sick. You do not have to text the bride and groom that day to let them know. But, yes, you should let someone know. If there's an event coordinator, if there's a best friend, if there's a maid of honor, let those people know. And if the person's just putting up a piñata and planning their kid's 6th birthday party, still don't need to text them. Anyway, with that said, though, talk about dress code.
Yes. So as a 2024 bride personally, and just as someone who notices fashion anywhere I go, the worst thing is being underdressed. Now, of course, the term black tie comes with its own slew of opinions, but I feel very passionately about the fact that, especially after COVID, we never got to leave the house. Who goes to a black tie function? Not me on the regular. I know that. If the bride, the groom, the couple is requesting black tie or formal, go above that even. Dress to impress. Why not? Feel your best. And I think there is a misconception that black tie or formal has to be very expensive, especially nowadays. Not at all. You can rent something. You can borrow. You can Amazon. There's hundreds and hundreds of what would qualify as black tie gowns or attire that does not have to break the bank.
No, actually, Casey, even for my studio, because obviously, as you know, I'm also a portrait photographer. I have what I call a client closet.
Yeah.
They have access to gowns and everything for my photo shoots. Half of those things I've gotten on Amazon for $20.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if there is a question whether your dress is black tie or not, ask everybody else before you go to the bride or the groom. And there's so many more resources now on TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever it may be, that there really shouldn't be a question to the couple. But also, as a bride or a groom, if that's something that's important to you, you can make the inspiration lists. You can make the Pinterest boards. And if somebody does come to you and says, what do you mean by black tie? What do you mean by formal versus cocktail attire? Some of those more vague ones too. Sometimes people do like summer formal. Okay, what does that mean? for women and men, summer formal for a man, are we wearing a jacket? Are we not wearing a jacket? Some of those more nuanced ones, if it's really important to you as the bride or the groom, you can make the inspiration board, the Pinterest board, whatever it may be. And if you need to share it out, great. If it's really important to you, have it on your website. I think dress code, I always say to my brides or grooms, reach for the stars, go for the most formal, and people will land somewhere in between there.
Also, too, on the other token is don't underdress. So if it's a black tie, do a black tie.
Yes.
If it doesn't specify black tie, it just does not mean you can show up with jeans.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know any wedding unless they say on their invite, totally casual attire, jeans is good. Don't do it. Don't do sneakers. Do not jeans.
Do sneakers. Oh my goodness.
And I know the trend right now is the fancy dresses with the white sneakers. It's a trend. It's a younger generation.
It's a younger generation trend.
But it's there. It's there. And these are the people coming. Just no, it's not appropriate at a wedding.
No, absolutely not.
And also, too, we are coming out of the COVID years, and society in itself has gotten way more casual.
Yes.
Business attire is not business attire it was 20 years ago, or actually not even. It's pre-COVID. I mean, literally everything has. I have couples that are getting married, and I'll be in the bridal suite, and my bride will literally say to me, "I have not worn heels since my wedding day." I mean, obviously she's broken in her heels, but this is, it's just we just don't dress up as much. However, that is shifting.
Absolutely.
We are starting to dress more, or we're using these special occasions to really dress to impress. So anyway, don't underdress.
Do not underdress.
So I think what we're going to do, Casey, is we're going to take a quick break. We have so much to get through. We're not even past the RSVP.
We haven't even gotten to the wedding yet. We're still at the beginning.
So we'll take a quick break and we'll get back, and we got to at least get to the wedding.
Yeah, we'll make it through there for sure.
I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you like what you're hearing, I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. And don't forget, you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you left a fabulous review on Apple Podcast. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support. And now, let's get back to the episode. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So right before the break, we were talking about the RSVP do's and don'ts. We haven't even gotten to the wedding day. And over our break, Dan just brought up a good point. We can't even get to the wedding day, guys. We're still going back to the RSVP card.
We're still on fashion because Dan brought up the really good point about how to know if what you're wearing to a wedding is appropriate or not. And this is something that I can speak from the younger generation for. It's so hard now when I'm looking at wedding guest dresses, to find something that is appropriate.
Correct. So what Dan basically said is when we were during our break, he goes, literally, I'm going to throw him underneath the bus. And Dan's our producer, as you all know. He said, "You're not going to talk about the slutty dresses?"
I can't believe we forgot the slutty dresses, to be honest, because I have seen some numbers, let me tell you. So, first of all, know your body type. If you are a bigger chested woman, you don't need to have them out. You just don't. You don't need to have, this isn't the Victoria's Secret runway. Tightness of dresses, I can kind of give up a little bit. I know that sometimes from a more modest point of view, it's not supposed to be like skin tight, of course. I can get over that. It's the butt and the boobs that I just can't get behind, the B's. Cover up the boobs and make sure, if it's a cocktail wedding that you're wearing a short dress, I don't want to come anywhere close to having a wardrobe malfunction. So let's just go on the safe side there. I don't need to see the two B's. Don't need to see them. Your boobs and your butt.
And honestly, I don't want to knock anybody who likes to show their boobs and the butt. They can do that on a date night.
Absolutely.
They can do that at, let's go back to that New Year's party. I think you all are planning that New Year's party, or, that birthday party that you're going to go to. Not a kid's birthday party with a piñata, but a 30-year-old birthday party, or,
Right.
But not a wedding day.
Not a wedding.
Tighten it up.
Yes.
Also, to color.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you know how there's that fashion trend right now where they're trying to say you can wear white before Labor Day. That's been out the window many, many, many years now. It's not out the window for a wedding.
I mean, white in general at a wedding. And if you have to wonder if this is too white, especially now with more people wearing patterns. The patterns. If you have to question if this is too white, it is too white.
Yeah, I guess the rule of thumb is it goes back down to it is not your day.
Absolutely.
So just don't be that guest. Also, too, the reason why Dan brought this up is listen, as a photographer, right? There is a point in the night where we are amused and we use your amusement we use you as your amusement, right? I mean, we've been working all day. We're not drinking. It's a long day. We're chugging our Diet Cokes, and the party's going, liquor's flowing. Again, I've been that guest. I met my husband at a wedding, by the way. Okay,
I can't believe that.
I met him at a wedding.
Very on brand.
Fair. So I remember, our very good friends are getting married, and my husband's from Florida. My friend lived in Florida, and so I was going down there, and she's like, please be my photographer and my bridesmaid and a guest. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, no.
No, but I made an agreement that I would be her photographer, and then as soon as the formalities and the cake was cut, I was going to join the party. And I would have my second shooter, my assistant, take over the night for the party. And I joined that party. I had to catch up, right? Listen, I had to catch up. I was like, it was definitely a marathon at the bar, which we are going to talk about later in this episode about the open bar is not a marathon. But anyway, again, I am that guest. You please learn from my mistakes, people. So I was having many cocktails, and I met my husband that night, and I thought his name was Scott. His name is Steve.
You were close. You had the S and the T.
But I was definitely there at our wedding day. They showed footage from my friend's video of the night that we met, and I just hand on forehead moment. I was that person. I was just dancing obnoxiously, and I was having a good time. All right, but my point is, I was definitely not dressed inappropriate. What I'm trying to say is, there is definitely people that are on that dance floor that we just look at. We love you guys as photographers. We take many pictures of you as photographers. You are having a great time. That is the type of fun you want. You do not want to be the person that we're looking at on the dance floor that has the most inappropriate outfit and, everything is falling apart and, we're all like, did you see that one?
Well, into that point, yes, I will also confirm sloppy hour, after probably 9, 10 o'clock. Once there's a good 20 minutes of dancing going on, that is sloppy hour, and it is the most entertaining part of our day as vendors. 1,000%.
And it's okay to be part of sloppy hour.
Absolutely. It's a party.
You just can't be part of sloppy hour with your dress.
Yeah, you don't want to be that one. And I think that with the dress also goes along with your dancing technique and style. We don't need to be grinding up on our significant others.
No.
There's no need. We can dance freely. I have seen people really getting down on their significant other on the dance floor, and it's just not the time.
No. And also, too, Casey, you're going to be so upset at me.
Oh, boy.
Please do not be that one that kicks off your shoes and dance barefoot on the dance floor.
Guilty. Guilty as charged. Every time I do it, do I cringe at myself for it? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Especially like we were just saying, post-COVID, we haven't been wearing heels in a while. Some people, of course, just don't have as great feet. First of all, buy more comfortable shoes. Let's start there. And second of all, if you are that kind of person that ends up getting a little crazy on the dance floor and knows that they're not going to want to be in heels all the time, yours truly, bring, whether it's a decent pair, just bring something that you will be comfortable in. It's a liability, first of all,
right.
Dancing around everywhere with glass.
And all joking aside, people who are listening, we need to explain to them why they should not be doing this.
Absolutely. And there's some venues that don't let you have glass on the dance floor for this reason, but people are drinking and things are splashing, or people are dropping glass, and you might not even notice that there was something dropped on the floor before the venue can get to it. But it's not a good look. I agree. I've seen myself in the flesh doing it and regret it every time. But it comes down to mostly a safety issue.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's a safety issue, because a lot of glass has been dropped on that dance floor. If it could be beer bottles, it could be glass. It's just it could be plates. It's a liability there. And also too, it could just be drinks, and you could slip. And just so it's just please keep your shoes on. And like you said, like if you are somebody who likes to kick off your shoes, I am one of them. You have to just bring those flats.
Yeah, just bring flats. I would also not suggest flip-flops because that also kind of defeats the purpose of glass in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So actually, though, while we're at the reception, we've skipped. You know what? Let's go back into the ceremony.
Yes.
We'll come back to the reception in a second because we got a lot of good ones for you there. Ceremony. Hit me up, Casey.
Be on time. Take your seat. Sit there. Don't be getting up 1,000,005 times because even if the ceremony, for example, starts at 1:30 and, it's 1:28, I might have time to go to the bathroom really quick. Get in your seat. Do your bathroom. Do whatever you have to do. Get in your seat. Be present. And also be a little conscious of your surroundings. Let's, keep our chatter to the minimum when it comes time for ceremony start. Take all your pictures of the ceremony space ahead of time. And then, this is the biggest thing, put your phone away. I don't care if the bride and groom didn't specify that it's an unplugged ceremony. All ceremonies should be unplugged. You're there to enjoy and celebrate with the couple.
So you brought up a really good point, which is even if the ceremony's not unplugged, put that camera away, your phone away, aka your camera nowadays. But also too, if it is unplugged, do not sneak that picture. Mm-mm. Do you know how many times as a photographer, I hear the announcement. There is a beautiful sign saying, we want you guys to be present and unplug your phones and da-da-da-da. And people are still doing it. And all I can say is there's a reason. We could go down the whole list of reasons of why people are doing that, but that's not part of the show. The show is be a good guest.
Absolutely.
Put your effing phones away. I said it, people. I'm allowed to. It's my podcast.
Put it away. And like you said, there's a multitude of lists of as to why. But at the end of the day, just put it away.
Yes. And I can tell you one of the reasons is as a photographer, your phones date the picture.
Absolutely.
So, and also too, you can get in the way and you may not realize it, but your hands are coming out on the aisle and then, and can I ask you all, what are you doing with those pictures?
Have you ever looked back at it?
Yeah, what are you doing? Like with that, like honestly, like what are you, if you think you're doing it to post the pictures on social media, the bride and groom are going to have, the couple are going to have that. Oh, also, do not post on social media until the couple has done it.
Absolutely. I will have a little bit of leeway with this if it's a picture of you and your date or you and your family, but no pictures of the bride or groom should be posted before they do.
No.
Absolutely
zero. Not even at their ceremony.
No. Do
yes,
not.
You can post pictures of you at that wedding.
Yeah, of course, as a guest.
I'm talking about, like, you should not be posting anything of the couple.
Absolutely not.
It's just, I don't know. Anyway, but, okay, back to the ceremony. Put your cameras down. There's so many reasons. So like I said, one reason is as a photographer, it dates your pictures, and then the pictures your iPhones are in the picture. As my own personal wedding, my favorite picture that I have a big print of in my house is my husband and I walking down the aisle, and we have confetti thrown in the air. I just love it. It makes me smile. And my cousin is in the back with her phone taking a picture of it. And I still see it all the time in the picture. It's just like your eye goes to it. Right?
Oh, absolutely. And if you're thinking as a guest, the photographer can edit it out. Not really, no. And I'm sure you guys can speak to that more than I can. But also, if you have that mentality at a 200-person wedding, chances are so many other people are going to have that mentality too. And the second one person picks up a phone, everyone else is picking them up. So be the good guest. That should honestly be the name of this episode. The good guest.
The good guest.
The good guest. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
And the other thing is, another reason why, like I said, there's a whole list, but you should be present and you should be clapping for that couple.
Exactly.
One of the times that people take out the phone the most is right when they do their first kiss or is when they announce the couple. Really, your hand should be doing the clapping.
Absolutely.
And why? Because it's about them and it's bringing excitement, and they did it.
Yeah.
They're married.
I think another part while we're on the celebrating in the ceremony, hooting and hollering, especially in a church, synagogue, a place of worship. You don't need to be cheering like you're at Super Bowl. I think a respectful clap, of course, share your celebration, but the worst is those college friends in the back just hooting and hollering. Save it for the reception.
Can I talk about something too about the college friends? And honestly, we asked you to share this episode with your friends, so I hate to say it, but the college friends, especially the men, not to stereotype, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. So if they listen to the podcast episode, they're going to do what they're going to do. But just understand that there's a place for humor. And so just what you think is a funny scenario could to be a domino effect and insult or ruin things that may not be important at the moment, but down the line is. I had a puzzle guest book, meaning like I had puzzle pieces, and it was a photo of my husband and I, and you put all the pieces together, and it will be our picture of us. And I was ready to display it and put it in my house, and I was going to get a clear frame so you could turn it over and you see the puzzle pieces where they sign on one side and then us on the other side. Well, guess what? That's sitting in a box in my basement collecting dust. I'll never see it again because you know why? Somebody, it probably was my friends, but somebody decided to draw penises all over it. And it's just like, no.
I have had so many instances of that where I just had a client recently that they did. You're supposed to do one paint stroke on a big canvas, and will be a piece of art in their house that they'll put up. And everybody did a little paint stroke on it. I think it's a great idea. Just giant profanities everywhere. And don't get me wrong. Like, yes, you will have those clowns of friends and, silly Billy, we see it right there. It's not necessary. It's distracting, and then it looks like shit in pictures. There's been times that I've had to go in like a clear card box. Somebody drew like a giant penis on the front of an envelope that they put in this card box to go through the card box and rearrange the whole thing.
And that's the thing. It's like it's all joking aside, but you can leave those jokes at another location. I mean, I joke around, but I still bothers me that I can't put that piece up. And especially like when I go to weddings and I see all these beautiful guest pieces or guest books or interactive guest books that they're going to have. I don't have mine. Mm-hmm. It's sitting with penises in the basement with a Sharpie. Yeah. Speaking of envelopes, though, it's going back to RSVPs.
Yeah.
I know. We just have so much knowledge here. We're going to have to make this a 2-part episode.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's what we're going to do, guys. This is going to be a 2-part episode. So we're still sticking with that RSVPs, that envelope. The cash.
Yeah.
Payment.
So this is a tricky subject. And it comes with the utmost respect, of course, because everybody comes from their own financial situations. And it really is the thought that counts and the fact that you're there celebrating with a couple. But there is etiquette on wedding gifting that I think is changing. I'm sure, our parents would say something different than we think now. But between a shower, a bridal shower, Jack and Jill, whatever it would be, and then the wedding envelope, there is etiquette around that gifting. And I think my rule of thumb that I always try to stick to, and correct me if you have a different go-to, but I try to at least, as much as possible, cover my plate. So if my fiance and I are going to a wedding, which granted now I have a skewed opinion about being in the industry of it, I try to at least give what I think would be an appropriate cost to cover the plate.
Okay, and so also too, for somebody who doesn't understand what appropriate cost to cover the plate is, you can easily go back to you remember you talked about the 3 threes,
Three before me.
Yep. There is nothing wrong with calling the venue.
Absolutely not.
There's nothing wrong, and I've done it myself. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with calling the venue and just saying, and just tell them, hey, I'm a guest at this night. Roughly, how much is my meal? And there's nothing wrong with that. You can even go on the website. You can Google it. Sometimes they list general pricing for menus, but you should at least cover your meal.
Absolutely. And like I said, everybody's financial situation is different, and the bride and groom completely understand. And it's not that they're trying to net out in the green of hosting this event. It's just courtesy. And I also think, and I heard this recently, that your shower gift is your wedding gift. And I have always seen those as two very separate events, that your shower, Jack and Jill engagement party, if you feel so inclined to bring a gift to that, that is one event, and then the wedding is another event. So I think it all still just comes down to knowing what situation you're in as a guest and being honest with it. If putting money in an envelope for the wedding itself is something that is really going to mess up your finances, respectfully just decline. You don't need to push yourself over the edge to go to these weddings. Like, everybody understands. Everybody has a cost of living and whatever it may be. But I think it is, I do think there is some disrespect there that can come into play.
Also, too, like you said, this is a very touchy subject.
Right.
Because everybody's financial situation is different. It is okay. You have up to a year.
Absolutely.
It's actually, Google it. You have up to a year to give a wedding gift.
Yes.
So if it's a financial situation, you can be saving up. I mean, you have a year to save up too, but because most save the dates and everything go out about a year in advance.
Yeah.
You also have a year later. So, we're being honest here, Casey. It is a form of disrespect. You have to pay at least your meal.
It is.
Yeah.
And
we're just being honest.
Yeah.
You have some time. You can decline, or if it's a really special person and you just are not in a financial situation, you can just slowly save for them.
And regardless, they will still understand.
Yes, they should, because they're your friends.
Exactly.
All right, Casey, so here's the deal, right? I'm looking at our list, right? We're not even halfway through it. So I think what we're going to do is it's going to be a 2-part podcast episode. So for our listeners, you're going to have to tune in a couple weeks for Casey's part 2 episode, which that's when we're going to get into how to be a good guest at a reception. We're going to talk a lot about the open bar.
Oh, yeah.
Also, too, pictures.
Yes.
And a little bit about bridal party.
Yes.
Yes.
Bridal party, you're still a guest.
You're still a guest. So for our wrap-up question on this part of our podcast, what are some key points that couples should be letting their guests know, aka send them this podcast episode, or for our listeners about, who are going to be a guest, to be a good guest?
Quick rapid fire. RSVP on time. Keep in mind the etiquette of a wedding envelope, because unfortunately there is some etiquette there. Dress to impress and dress appropriately. And respect, no cell phones, especially at the ceremony. No posting on social. Don't get in the way of photographers. They paid a lot of money to have a photographer. Let them do their job.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Wedding Secrets Unveiled. You helped our listeners become one step closer in their stress-free wedding planning. Can you tell everyone where they could find you?
Yeah, our Instagram is c.k.collective_. And the website is ckcollectiveevents.com. And yeah, I guess that's the only ways to find me.
That's it. Well, I got one other way. For our listeners, we will have Casey's information on our episode show notes, which you will find on our blog and our website page at sarahzarella.com/podcast. All right, Casey. So I will talk to you in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to tell you something. I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. We love photographing while having fun, of course. Check out our podcast page on our website for our show notes, along with upcoming episodes with your local wedding experts. Listen in as we help you plan your epic event. And don't forget that you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate if you left a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support, and let us know what you think. If you know any wedding experts that would like to be a guest, we have a link directly on our website where they can let us know. Thank you for listening.